Good evening. On behalf of Scotiabank, I'm thrilled to join you for tonight's Women of Excellence celebration. As a longtime sponsor, Scotiabank is proud to share an unwavering commitment to advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout our organization and within our communities. Putting our words into action, we've provided over $5 billion in funding to women-led businesses through our Scotiabank Women Initiative, and we are committed to deploying another $5 billion by 2025. Tonight, Scotiabank is honored to present the Breaking Barriers Award to Kathleen Holland. For over 30 years, Kathleen has been a leader, mentor, and pioneer within the LGBTQ2+ community. Kathleen's many achievements include securing same-sex spousal benefits for the former London Board of Education, with the Supreme Court following suit 5 years later, and making life safer for LGBTQ2+ students and staff at the former London Board of Education. Kathleen continues to positively impact countless lives and provide hope and inspiration for our community. On behalf of Scotiabank, please join me in congratulating Kathleen on this well-deserved recognition.
Kathleen is a leader, an advocate, an organizer, and an activist for the London LGBTQ+ community.
Well, when I embarked on this journey of basically breaking barriers, it wasn't something I had imagined. It was because I was in a relationship with an American woman, and simply I did not have same-sex spousal benefits to offer her should she ultimately move to Canada. Turns out the relationship lasted only a few years, but in that whole period of time, I worked on a small and mighty group of people called Heterosexism and Homophobia in Education Working Group. We called it Homo Ed. We approached the superintendents of human resources and we let them know of our need. They understood the need for having same-sex spousal benefits for their employees, and that is what was granted to us. This is a group of people where we approached politicians, both at the provincial and the federal level, in order to be able to have them move forward legislation that would ultimately give safety and protection to our community.
Back in the 90s, Kathleen would talk to university classes and high school classes about what it was like to be a lesbian in the world. Now, at that time, there was a lot of rights that our community didn't have, and she would be such a role model to these young women and men who were maybe coming out or maybe had never met a lesbian, and they would be inspired and realize that they could have a happy and successful life.
So in the years of 2006 and 2007, I was in a volunteer role at Rogers TV, and the program was called Today's Q. So what I did is I interviewed members or allies of the gay community in order to tell the world how they made a difference. My most important and cherished interview was the one I did with my parents about my coming out 10 years earlier. My parents are the reason I am the person I am today because of the love and support they offered. So 3 years ago, my mother passed away. She was my biggest cheerleader and biggest supporter outside of my wife, Shannon. She would have loved to have witnessed this moment in time where I was being honored as a woman of excellence.
As a young lesbian teacher in London 30 years ago, we had very few rights and were very afraid to be out. When I met Kathleen, she was very courageous and was out within the community, was fighting for same-sex spousal rights, and I was just in awe of her bravery and her tenacity and her passion.
So AWOL is a women's group that's been around since 1990. It stands for Adventurous Women of London, and it's open to all women because different women are on different levels of acceptance on that pendulum of sexual orientation.
Kathleen is currently living her best life in retirement. She began a YouTube channel, which is also a show on Rogers Television, called Hiking with Kathleen. She can be viewed weekly, often with her wife, Shannon, hiking, paddling, camping in the wilderness. And Kathleen will teach us all how to stealthily spot wildlife, so us amateurs can go out to the woods and see them too.
So one of my proudest moments in the gay community was when my community recognized me as the Grand Marshal of the parade in 2007. And my parents were there to witness that as they stood at the sidelines and they stood in the beer garden and they cheered me on. The more recent proud moment is my YouTube channel, because after all, that is my retirement gig, and the fact that I'm able to bring to life things that people can no longer maybe do by walking in the woods or seeing wildlife on their own, I'm bringing that to their living room, and they get to see myself and my wife in a happy, fun relationship. There's work to be done in the community, and we, from the gay community, are certainly anxious to do it, but we welcome you to continue on this journey with us.